Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bridget Parker and I cover all things true crime. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel. A few days ago, I attempted to go live and share messages Joe and I had exchanged, as well as publicly acknowledging the person who threatened me in May of last year after my first video on Joe Exotic. As I was about to share that email threat, my live was shut down. In fact, it was shut down 3 times in a row. YouTube informed me that I had breached their community guidelines. I was able to appeal the first video and it was restored. However, the other 2 videos haven't been put back up on my channel. If you watch the last minute of that live, it will show you that as soon as I named the person that threatened to sue me, I was struck. I'll leave a link to it in the description and in the iCard for you. It's very interesting in the timing, don't you think? I won't be silenced. And so today I will be sharing with you what happened last year between Jeff Lowe and I, and my communication with Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. I have followed the world of Joe Exotic for several years after seeing the Louis Theroux documentary America's Most Dangerous Pets featuring Joe. You guys have to go and watch that. I watched his wedding to Travis and John and the funeral of Travis online. I watched the war between Joe and Carol and was shocked when Joe was arrested for his crimes. My plan was to start to cover the story on my YouTube channel last year. I planned on contacting Joe after his trial, writing regardless of a guilty not guilty verdict. On May 10th, 2019, I did a live with around 30 views in total, discussing the goings on with Joe and his zoo and the people involved. Just to note that it says that I do have 130 views now on that video, and it's because I have put the video up as unlisted for people to watch if they would like to. In this video, I discussed the rumours regarding Jeff Lowe. I mentioned the website I found alleging he was an animal abuser and that he rented his Ferrari. The next day, I woke up to an email from Mr. Lowe with the subject line, "Lawyer up, Miss Parker." Here's the screenshot of the email. It says, "Bridget Parker, it has been brought to my attention that you have repeatedly libelled me in your attempt to feel important. You have publicly declared me to be an animal abuser despite your best efforts to actually find any such record, in which you painfully failed. You claim to have some knowledge of my wealth. You insinuate that I only rent my Ferrari. I am just putting you on notice that I intend to file a suit against you. You seriously need to learn to report the news without interjecting your personal bias as a matter of fact. It is very apparent that you know nothing of this case. To begin with, I didn't buy a zoo from Joe. Joe never owned a zoo. I never moved my zoo, and I never moved my animals. Not that my finances are any of your business, but I own my Ferrari along with a home in the Caribbean, a home in Las Vegas, a home in Oklahoma, one in South Carolina, and a condo in Denver, and 2 zoos in Oklahoma. If you would care to challenge me on this, we can do so under deposition in my case against you. Respectfully, Jeff Lowe." It's interesting that he seems so deeply concerned about my claims he's broke, more so than me discussing his alleged animal abuse. As someone who had just started covering true crime and was new to the world of YouTube, I immediately took the video down. I didn't believe I had done anything wrong, but at the time I felt threatened enough to stay silent. I didn't tell many people what had happened and moved on from covering this story. I regret that to this day. I wish I hadn't felt intimidated and silenced. I planned to share this email on my live as a funny event that happened to me last year, now that everyone knows who Joe and Jeff are. I did find humour in the email and still to this day get a chuckle out of it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to share that email live and get everyone's reactions on YouTube. You can, however, find me talking about it live on Periscope. The link will be below. I will add, Jeff Lowe is a wanted man in Las Vegas. There are no property records stating he owns any homes, so as to the 5 he claimed he had, they sure aren't in his name. He's come out and stated he set Joe up, as you can see in this image, and as he stated in the Netflix series. After Joe was found guilty, it took a rather long amount of time for his sentencing. My plan was once he was sentenced and moved to a federal prison, I was going to start writing to him. I never made that public because I wasn't planning on sharing it on my channel. But then Netflix came along and ruined my plans. Now everyone wants a piece of Joe Exotic. I ended up writing to Joe in what would be his last week in Grady County Jail before he was moved to a federal prison in Fort Worth, Texas. We planned to do an interview, but just as I was locking in a date, communication stopped due to his move. Joe is currently in a 14-day quarantine, not because he was positive for COVID-19, but because he was moved from a facility that had someone who was positive. Joe's official Facebook page has publicly stated the media reporting was incorrect. I do hope we can connect again. He's a fascinating creature. So I guess you want to see the messages between Joe Exotic and I, so let's take a look at them. I had to request to contact him and he had to approve it. So once he had, he sent this message that says, "I accepted your request. Did you watch the series? I so need help getting out of here. So much has been done wrong. Thanks." At the time, I hadn't actually finished watching the series. I was writing to him not because of the series, it was because I'd always wanted to and found a way to contact him. So I let him know that, and I let him know what had happened between Jeff Lowe and I, and this is the response. It says, "Bridget, thank you for writing. Lowe is too broke to sue anyone. I need a platform to get Trump to pardon me. Can you help me with that? There is a video thing called Home Wave that you can record me talking to you. Looking forward to being friends. Love ya, Joe." I responded saying I would look into Home Wave. I asked if he had an appeal lawyer working on his case, and I also expressed concern for him and COVID-19 because he is at high risk. So this is the response. "The people are working on a pardon, lawyers on the appeal. I have 2 illnesses that will kill me if I get that, CVID and I have tried so many times to pronounce that and I don't want to be disrespectful and butcher it. So the word is on the screen for you." And then Joe ends it with "Love ya." I responded and asked how else I could help, that I would very much like us to set up an interview, and is there a website I can refer people to find out more information about his appeal. His response was, "Hey, thanks for being here. I have my Facebook and www.freethetigerking.com that I need shared bad. I just want to go home. Love you." I did respond to that. I think I actually said, "Hey, let's set up a time to do an interview." But I didn't hear back from him. I usually heard from him. He was either really quick to reply or within a day. I didn't hear from him, and then when I went to send him another message, it said that he was inactive, which was very confusing. And that's when I put up the video on not on Facebook. I put up a video on YouTube asking where he was because his Facebook account wasn't being kept up with either. So it turned out that, as I mentioned, he was in quarantine. He is in quarantine for COVID-19 as a precaution. I want to add this. There is much more to the story. The documentary did leave out a lot of information and didn't touch on the animal abuse charges filed against Joe. I can't blame the filmmakers. There is so much to this world, this saga, and that's hard to fit into one season. I do think a second season filling in the gaps would be really helpful. I urge people to do some respectful stalking before using the hashtag #FreeJoeExotic. Where do I stand with Joe? Well, apparently he loves me from those messages, so Joe Exotic loves me. Can you say that? But seriously, where do I stand with Joe? I believe when he opened the GW Zoo in honour of his brother, he had nothing but the best intentions. He wanted to help rescue animals that I personally believe do not belong in the general public's hands. I believe that when he and Carol Baskin waged war on each other, something in Joe broke. I believe that it stopped being about the animals. It should have always been about the animals. It should still be about the animals. The world of exotic animals is a wild one. The stories are almost unbelievable. And whilst right now the Tiger King is memes and funny songs, something I think the world needed during our current crisis, the heart of the matter is about big cats and exotic animals being bred and sold all across America. I will continue to speak to Joe, if I can, and bring you more information as I get it. I would recommend joining my Facebook group, All Things True Crime, for the latest as I post in there daily about this case and many others. The link will be in the description. So tell me in the comments below, what do you make of all of this? What are your thoughts on the email? Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe for more true crime content. Until next time, bye for now.